What friendship really is, from what I have understood, it is a connection we all crave and truthfully need in our lives. Wouldn't things feel lighter to carry if you could just share a few moments of peace with a friend? You could laugh about the most out of pocket and unusual things, laugh at each other, have inside jokes, buy things for each other, give unasked advice because you have an equal right in their lives as well. Aren't these the things we want for ourselves and want to do these for someone as well? There is a quote I read by C.S. Lewis. The line that stayed with me was, "In each of my friends, there is something that only some other friend can fully bring out." And I know that this is true because it happens around us all the time. There are friends with whom I would never share the same kind of memes as I do with others. I'm sorry, I know I could have used a better analogy, but doesn't this convey the message I'm trying to say? I would have forced myself to come up with an analogy that sounded sophisticated, almost poetic, at least within my capabilities. But aren't you the friend with whom I can share whatever comes first in my mind? I have always had many friends, over my school life and out of it. I am an extrovert in a sense, but I have never had the friendship I'd always wanted. Growing up and to this date, I have seen two girls, often childhood friends, who are soulmates. They do everything together, there is no jealousy between them, and an active support system in place. I never had that kind of friendship with a girl. Do not get me wrong, I have two wonderful friends who have been through thick and thin with me and never once complained. One is a childhood friend, and the other I found in high school. They are as good as friendships can get, but they are boys. I am not one for sexism, but wouldn't it be magical to have female friendship? I know it is nothing short of a blessing. I am just waiting for my turn. But when you are desperate for a connection, or even when you are simply just being, there are chances you are going to make mistakes. I made some too. I had a friend in my 12th grade who I thought was the friend I deserved. He did not leave me to eat by myself, texted me first, played online games with me. You can kind of see where I am going with this. But there was something that just did not sit right with that friendship. I was not myself in that friendship. He, however, was. And I thought common courtesy meant friendship for life. I cannot blame him. He did not wrong me here. Our principles and values, our outlook on life was very different. That friendship was just never meant to survive past 12th grade, and now it just seems awkward. There is one thing in particular I do feel bad about, and that is not wishing him his birthday because he had changed his number, whereas he wished me on mine, on literally a number I thought no one had. I am sorry for that, but I just could not bring myself to talk about it. Maybe it is for the best. We have both found our respective lives. It is better to let things be as they are now. Another thing I learned during that time, which was a very important distinction, just because you are socializing with a person does not make them your friend. We tend to often overlook things that are not in our favor. One such thing I am guilty of. As we experience life, we change. We grow as a person and even crumble down to what we once considered as pieces of ourselves. It is a constant process. We fail, we take a moment, we get back up, and whatnot. However, amidst asserting ourselves against the force of life, we change. And this change, often, is not the same for others. As we become a version of ourselves different from the time where we were the friends, friendships also take a turn. And if you encounter your friends after a really long time, the shock of pieces no longer fitting together confuses you both. I met a friend of 7 years recently. He had not seen me since a year, but we were in contact through calls and messages. During his visit, as I went to the kitchen, he exchanged some words with my sister. As we were all in the same school once, what they talked about I did not know until the next day, and honestly I did not care at the moment. because I was preoccupied with a strange emotion during the entirety of his visit. It was like seeing and interacting with a stranger, rather a man who was nothing short of my older brother. I could not enjoy the banter or the opinions all of a sudden. Instead of fun, they felt like a violation of my boundaries. Earlier, I would have been eager and open to receiving any advice from him, but now I could not find any warmth in his words. The lens I used to look at him from feels shattered, and his shortcomings are the focus. I, however, did not know what I was experiencing then, but the next day my sister revealed to me the conversation they had in my absence. And all of a sudden, I had found the lost piece of the puzzle. The conversation essentially was how I have changed from the way I talk to the way I sit and walk. He was equally as lost. And to be fair, I can hardly blame him for any of this. I have indeed changed. I no longer suppress the uneasiness I feel when a joke is made at my expense, nor do I hide my thoughts because they are different from that of the group. I no longer blur the boundaries for anyone. Now, these are things that were not decided in a day or learnt in a day. I had to learn them because that was the only way I could ensure I thrive. And unfortunately, when I was undergoing such major changes, he was not with me, and hence the distance. But I have come to terms with my change. I find them to be an essential part of my current and future life. I will always offer respect to what our friendship once was, but I do not and will not go back the old road. Truth be told, I cannot now. I have come too far. So the only path I see onwards is to interact with them as genuinely as I can because people deserve the respect of talking to the actual me, whether or not it is an easy option for either of the parties. But I will refrain from forcing any relationship or feeling. I have changed, and so have my needs and boundaries, and not everyone will change with me. It is simply wrong to expect them to. Just be yourself, and you will meet people who will be willing to match your energy, boundaries, and needs as friends. That is what I tell myself.